Hey everyone, got a really interesting topic for tonight. We're going to talk about why being nice can make you money. Now, if you've been following popular book titles and things like that, you've probably seen people saying things like nice girls don't get the corner office or nice guys don't win, things like that. And I know there are a lot of different definitions about what niceness really means, and a lot of times people confuse it with weakness. So I want to spend just a quick second here talking about the difference between niceness and weakness. And to me, niceness is really looking out for the other person. It's being friendly. It's being caring. It is looking out for the other person's best interest and making sure they're taken care of. That is being nice in terms of how you can behave in business. Now, I'm also not, I'll warn you, I'm not one of those people who think that you have to be, fierce in just stepping on other people and doing all this other kind of stuff regardless of anybody else's feelings or well-being in order to get ahead. I do not believe that at all. In fact, I believe that by helping other people get what you want, what they want, that's the best way to get what you want. So you need to know I'm coming into it from that perspective. But at the same time, there really is a difference between being nice and being weak. And the main difference there comes with or through knowing your values and your commitments and your priorities and sticking to them. Niceness turns to weakness when you're willing to sacrifice your values and your priorities and your commitments in order to make somebody else happy. And that's not necessary at all. So weakness is not a good thing. Niceness, I would say, is a good thing. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how being nice really can affect you positively or negatively in business. One example would be when we started to grow, we hit that 7-figure mark as a business, and we started thinking that we don't have to kiss anybody's butt anymore. We can just do what we feel like doing, and just the numbers speak for themselves, and we don't really even need to try that hard. And that's a phase a lot of people go through. It's a very dangerous phase when you start experiencing some success. But I remember one particular client, it was the first deal we ever lost to a competitor. And our business, our industry as a whole was very new when we started it, so we didn't have that much competition. So it was several years in before we actually ever got to that point where we lost something to a competitor. And we were so blown away when we found out that we didn't get the deal and that the competitor got it. And it wasn't until about 6, maybe 12 months later that the salesman that was working against us ended up leaving her job. And we had a conversation with her and we said, hey, you remember that one deal that you won that you took away from us, that we were competing against each other? And she said, yeah. And we said, how did you do that? Like, what did you do that made them go with you instead of us? Because we thought they were happy with our pricing and everything else. And she was like, she kind of smiled and she said, well, I asked them the same question. And they said, well, to be honest with you, I liked you more. Pricing was about the same. You guys were maybe even a little bit more expensive, but I just kind of liked you and I wanted to give you the business. And so I remembered, like not even taking one of their phone calls one time because I just didn't feel like it, and I called him back 2 or 3 hours later, and I didn't spend a lot of time putting together the quote. I just threw out the best thing I could think of on the spot. And we thought we were big stuff, so we didn't think we had to be really nice and go all out to try to win over that customer and be likable, and it hurt us. It bit us pretty hard. So another example is that really did work in our favor was a couple of years ago when we asked one of our clients why he chose to do business with us back in the beginning. It was like our first year in business and he signed a contract. Because we really wanted to learn what about our services were causing people to want to do business with us. And I'll never forget, he basically said, well, to be honest with you, I really didn't see that much value in it, but it wasn't a huge amount of money, and I really liked you guys, and I believed in your story, and I really wanted you to be successful. So that's why I signed it. But the reason I'm still with you 7 years later is because after I started, I saw how my residents responded to this amenity, to this service, and that's when I saw the value, and I kept it because of the value, but I started it because I liked you. So never believe anybody who tells you that you have to be, that it's a bad thing to be a really likable, nice person in business. It can actually get you a lot of business, but you want to make sure that you do draw that line and that you do stand up for your values, your commitments, and your priorities. And it's okay to say no. You can say no and still be nice. You can say no and still be likable. You can look somebody in the eyes and honestly, it's just about making them feel and helping them to know that you're on their side. It's not personal. It's not about them. It's about numbers and possibilities. And if I can't do a certain deal that a client's asking me for, I can be nice about saying no. I can say, you know what? I really, really appreciate our business and the relationship we've had for so long, and I'd love to do something really special to help you out here. I cannot go that far. We've got this commitment that we like to stick by. I can't, this policy that we really found is super important, but maybe I could do this for you, and that would fit within our policies and within our values, and I think that would help you maybe even more. What do you think about that? And so you can see how you can sort of act in someone else's best interest. You can be nice, you can be likable, and you can say no and be strong and stand up for the things that are important to you at the same time. So would love to hear from you on this one. If you found if you've been in any situation where you've either been bitten or benefited by being nice or being likable, I'd love to know about it. Comment below, let me know. Talk to you soon.